Hi, how are you? I'm very behind schedule. Hello. Hope you're all having a nice afternoon. Apologies if you hear a lawnmower going in the background. I have my door open because the weather's nice today and I figured I'd let some, pollen into my lungs to irritate the living shit out of me. But yes, hello. We're back for the second part of the episode 2. Like I promised, we're going to be going for about 2.5 hours. I know it's supposed to be 3, but we're going for 2.5 instead. It's definitely not because of work and Fortnite. How am I? Oh, you're asking Muscle Bob. Well, to answer how I am, hang on a second. I have a soundboard for this.
I'm fine. I'm perfectly fucking fine.
Let me just get my playlist going and then we can get right into this. But yes, hello Mart, hello Crubbington, glad to see you can make it. Hello everybody else, glad you could all be here. For those of you that were submitting move sets for the next episode, this is not technically the next episode yet. You're going to be waiting another 2 weeks, roughly, for that. Just get some music going in the background. How you all feeling about Multiverse's relaunch? Haven't played it yet. Okay. We are back to the wheel again. Now, I know there's a couple of movesets I need to look at later, but I'll be reserving at least the last hour to that. So the first hour and a half is whatever gets picked from the wheel. So yeah, may the best man win. Spin the wheel. And our first booster of the day is Blood Falcon. Who submitted Blood Falcon? I'm gonna have to scroll a little bit for it. And Blood Falcon oh, hang on a second. Was done by Dahi Peels. Oh boy, this looks like a lot of text. Imagine redrawing every image you put in your 2 most recent movesets just to keep up with your current hyperfixations. Sounds like somebody who, you know, has been spending the last literal 30 days doing nothing but work and having next to no breaks except for when the new season of Fortnite came out. I wonder who that could be. It's been a bit tricky putting out a moveset for a past while. Long story short, it's become really hard to simply stick with one moveset and see it through. It's fun for a bit, but then I hit a hurdle. Happens to everybody. Previous things on hiatus again. Nothing new. But it does get annoying after a while, especially when it wasn't a problem in the past. Yeah, that shit just builds up. Although perhaps my patience leads to that cooking time feeling way too long sometimes. In that case, set the 47th. Sorry, I'm skimming this, but it is the beginning, and I don't want to spend too much time on, you know, details that aren't technically the moveset. Up until recently, I've never been an F-Zero fan, just never had access to any games, and Brawl's dinky 5-minute long demo of the SNES version was far from enough. That's why you use Dolphin and play F-Zero GX. Who said that? Could you provide a link to the doc? Sure. They're all available in my Discord, but yeah, there you go. This hobby, finding a new series to love naturally results in looking for moveset material, and there's a surprising amount here. Originally I had a different character in mind. Only further boosted by GX painting him in one of the funnier lights the game has. Okay, I'm very glad my mic's not technically picking that up unless I talk. And his role in Chapter 7 added icing to the cake. Maybe I'll look into Black Shadow at some point, he's really cool. There's already a PMEX remix mod that nearly nails him. I feel like I need to do something substantially different from that. So I'll take the next best alternative, a niche that hasn't been quite tapped into yet, but he also has a PMEX remix character. Another Edgelord doppelganger Blood Falcon. Guys, lore is curious. We don't need to know the lore of Mr. Blood Falcon. Before we start, I've done zero research regarding which F-Zero characters MYM's touched over the years. I just wanted to acknowledge there's a couple of cool mods of Blood Falcon out there. One PX Remix. Exchange, the line between confidence and overconfidence becomes blurry in pursuit of one-upping his arch nemesis. Blood loses sight of what makes Captain's kit so timeless: honesty, consistency, simplicity, and reliability. Plus, in his desire for unlimited speed, just like his vehicle of choice, he has a difficult time stopping. Low grip and acceleration, and horrible downsides on his less committal movement options. Masterful control is mandatory. His moves embody a similar idea for all their strengths, so many of them are overly committal and leave harsh penalties if he fails. While he can slow down and play a fundamental game, he's far from suited for it, and when taken out of his element, his pride can crumble almost too quickly. Pilot of an extreme vehicle, when everything about racing has already been cranked up to 11, naturally brings those polarized traits to smash. While not a glass cannon in the traditional sense, his presence makes matches explosively volatile, devastating opposing stocks. Just as often as his reckless mistakes can pile up, opponents with a steel will and honed patience may be able to see past his strengths and properly exploit his weaknesses, but anyone unworthy of his time will be run over in no time at all. I mean, I like what I hear so far. Stats, size, take a random guess. Weight 104, so same as Falcon. Being nearly the same body outside, perhaps a few different training resume, and steroids not being off the table. Blood Falcon is stuck with his counterpart size and weight. We've all heard this song and dance before. We like having high weights at high percents. It means we'll live longer, not always, if you have a bad recovery, and survive blows lighter characters wouldn't. But we hate high weight and low percent since it means we're the most vulnerable when opponents are comboing us. Tell that to Fox. At least it's more in the middle, so you don't have to experience any extremes. Walk speed 113, initial dash 176. While Blood's bigger downsides, Captain Falcon already has a hitch to his run nobody else in the Speedster top 10 deals with, and Blood's is far worse. The fastest character with an equivalent ID is Duck Hunt, and their run speed doesn't even reach 1.8. This will result in the signature amount of clunk in Blood's dash, and constantly let players know that they cannot half-ass any of their choices. Rock's running around and or trying to dash dance will both feel sluggish, especially when you're aware of his true potential. Hello, Harry. This will result in 1.76's respectable speed, all things considered. Sonora has the same initial dash. However, once he gets going, he clears. Not that it truly fixes the above issue, since a player will always perform more initial dashes than runs. But while Blood's fast, able to blast the stage in mere moments. Not always a plus, honestly. He has better airspeed than Falcon. Worse air acceleration. Rob's ground jumps and single air equivalent to Captain Falcon's. Better in the sense that Blood could brag about it, but it's hardly much of a difference. Fast fall. Half and half. Gravity. Traction wheel. Just like his vehicle, Blood Falcon may have his rival beaten in some areas, but pays a heavy price. It's hard to say one can simply get good and act like these issues aren't there. An experienced player will work around them, but they remain present. A difficulty curve that isn't present on most characters. He's a bit more vulnerable when punished, simultaneously more slippery to control while being difficult to get going at times, and his quirks mean that being confident in and skilled at your movement is a must. For those who don't want to worry about any of that, Captain Falcon's mostly smooth and reliable speed is right there. Yeah, unless you turn around, and far more appealing. Those who stick around and master him, however, will earn a fighter with superior horizontal and vertical momentum than even Doug himself. He bolts across the land and sky quicker. He jumps higher and descends on a dime. He can belt out aerials at a more rapid pace, and once he gets going, it's often nigh impossible to catch him. Once again, try something new for this. Descriptions for each move will be radically different. I've been interested in a pros con style approach for a while. Probably be having to cut it down because I can already see that we're my brother in Christ, how the hell do you have 108 pages for Blood Falcon? Yeah, we're gonna have to trim this down a little bit. Or at least, you know, skim through a lot of the fluff. Since the stuff isn't important to note, damage listed with 1v1 multiplier, that's whatever. That's what I use as well. Ended up scrapping something. Originally the stats section of each move. We've given number ratings from 0 to 5 around the descriptions like good, blah, blah, blah. For frame 11 forward smash will likely be 4.5 higher. These descriptions for forward smash would be way slower. I get partially good. I'm not entirely down for the arbitrary adjectives idea again. Yeah, it's a lot of pages, and which means I'm gonna probably have to again skip the fluff because I'm not spending the hour and a half that I have for other movesets to one moveset. So jab, mean hook, vicious kick, brain rattler, and a step ahead. Blood Falcon throws a far-reaching punch with his southpaw / back-facing hand. The opposite hand Falcon would use. Second input, quick kick aimed at the opponent's gut, while the next attack depends on whether the input is held or mashed. Holding the button will let the jab automatically play out as the doppelganger is stepping forward. And attacking with a headbutt. If you mash the button instead stomps the ground once again using the same leg. The former deals increased shield hit stun, while damage is low enough to easily poke through shields and hit the ledge. Seems fairly standard. We'll primarily talk about the headbutt and stomp here. The best part of this move, I don't think you need that much description on what this stuff does. It's just a jab. Arguably the star of the show, Blood's Gentleman, the headbutt is a nasty piece of work, -2 on shield. There's nothing in Smash that's plus on shield. So that's not really a problem. Con threats need to be believed. Pros will often gloss over some of the less appealing traits in order to get you on board. Wait, what? I missed a bunch. Sorry. I'm skimming through a lot of the fluff. Honestly, I don't really need a full, like, breakdown of a jab combo. So, like, a lot of this really isn't, like, necessary for me to read. The headbutt spikes, I mean, that's fine. There may be troubles with aerial opponents being able to tech it. If they don't land the previous hits, nullifying the knockback, you could use the opportunity to chase them for further presence, for pressure, I mean. Although, since Jab 3A relies on the hit stun for frame advantage, your window of opportunity will be small. Don't expect to land any forward smashes out of it. Originally planned to call the headbutt Skullcracker. Whenever I make these fringe moves, there's potentially windows to escape. I mean, that's just Smash DI in general. Hard to picture ways to optimize the scenario and possibly reduce the amount of viable options Blood has. I feel like the ability to slightly delay each jab, along with huge timing differences, should be enough to prevent it. I think Blood's ability to slightly delay each jab, i.e. press the button a little later than usual to waste a couple of frames, as well as end the chain, not do any of them if he wants, should foolproof the mix-up. Again, it's a jab. It's a jab combo. You don't need to really go into that much of technical detail, especially since there's next to no character in Smash where their jab is any sort of relevance to their actual moveset. Most jabs are literally just to get people off of you if they're too close because of their speed. Lunging forward, Blood will perform a long sliding kick, eventually screeching to a stop. Travels slightly less than a third of Final Destination, or around 4 training mode tiles. Acts as a sex kick, being stronger early in the move and weakening over the course of its duration. Sounds more like a dash attack than a forward tilt. Range is something to admire. Going far during the slide. Great for covering retreating rolls. That's a dash attack thing. Excuse me. Well, chunk of that range is unreactable as far as we're concerned. On top of everything else he can do. Hope you're ready for it when you're grounded near him. So what is it? Like, what's the startup here? Comes out frame 10. Frame 10 is pretty reactable. Still a burst option independent of its questionable movement stats, help patch up that issue a little. Strength's up to snuff. 100 more, soaking all that juicy rage will frequently make a similarly damaged opponent explode if he secures a close range blow. Which is a nice segue to the fact that it's pretty good hitting at the ledge. Again, this sounds more like a dash attack. Dash attacks are usually the moves that just throw yourself forward in order to attack like this. Usually you don't want a forward tilt to be like this because you sacrifice literally every sort of like neutral coverage you could possibly have. Most forward tilts in Smash are designed to just like help you control some sort of neutral space. The fact that Blood's low profile can make it not effective anti-air if timed right. Catch them off guard and you can sneak under their attack while smacking them right back. Also, sorry if I don't quickly ask questions, trying to graze through what you've already said. Sorry he's so much. I did say, but my submission, feel free to skim over some of the fluff. Okay. It's just that like a lot of like the beginning is not really like something that needs to be known. He's basically just, you know, evil Captain Falcon, essentially. This is half the joke, sadly. What you make power and range, you greatly lose out on safety. End legs is an obvious issue. If you collide to the shield, you may be screwed. You hit the opponent far enough away, vice versa. They matter a lot more if you're point blank, practically asking to be punished. Risk of shields can be mitigated by slightly spacing it. When spacing is difficult against moving foes, gives the opponent precious extra time to react and loses to many other options. It's far from a scot-free solution. I do love emphasizing that delicious pivot cancel distance, but even that only amplifies your issues if you use it at a bad time. The recurring trait they'll pop up through his kit. Blood's F-tilt either demands a certainly it'll hit, or acceptance on how boned you'll be if it fails. Just like jab, there's another hole opening in his kit. An input that's normally great for spacing isn't the case here. I'd say avoid using this move at low percents, as the two upsides of it kills real good and low angles good for sending them off stage don't counterbalance the perpetual risk all that well. My only major issue with this is just that it doesn't feel like a forward tilt. What I've been described sounds like a dash attack. It's, you know, you throw yourself forward to attack, you cover a decent distance doing so, has some decent launch power, can kill at higher percents, but it also is extremely risky, and if you throw yourself out of position and your opponent predicts it, you're basically screwed. So that's, it doesn't feel like a forward tilt to me. I don't know what you could put here. You could put something similar to Falcon, maybe. Or if you want to, you know, show up Falcon. Falcon does like a kick, just like a simple like horizontal kick. Maybe you could make Blood Falcon do 2 kicks. Just be like, "Ha, look at me, I'm doing it better than you. I hit twice, so my neutral's twice as good as yours." But in turn, it pushes him further out of position, and it's easier to punish. Also, thank you for the $2 snap, guy. I appreciate it. I normally look at slide clicks along the lines of giving up. In the down tilt or dash attack slots, they're more reasonable in the game proper, but there's so many of them, they're often generic without some big gimmick to mix it up. A gimmick Blood doesn't really need. Gimmicks won't pop up later, but not everything needs to be a gimmick. A good balance of simplistic moves keeps everything reasonable and palatable. The idea of it being in the forward tilt slot is far more appealing to me, mainly for the reasons listed in the downsides. Forward tilts are frequently spacing tools or mini forward smashes. like the idea of mixing it up with chucking something unusual with a slide kick here, giving him unique upside while sacrificing liability. I get that, but there's a reason why the forward tilt is usually reserved for the spacing slash kill confirm option that a lot of characters tend to have. Because it's quick, it's simple, and it's arguably, for most characters, one of their most reliable buttons. This kind of just feels like it's wanting to be different for the sake of being different, which isn't entirely bad, but it definitely doesn't feel like a forward tilt in a lot of what makes a forward tilt a forward tilt. Now to get to enable my addiction to prohibit cancel friendly moves, you can technically do all tilts, but forward tilts are the most lenient and often have the most pronounced effects. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I think it's fine since 90% is best case scenario. Blood's hitbox is as forgiving size-wise. Needed, I could keep toning it down. I think it just be replaced. Again, if you want to have him show up Falcon, you can make him do 2 kicks to give him way better horizontal range, but committing to 2 kicks at the same time, basically, while it can give you some serious advantage in the neutral, it can throw you heavily out of position. I'm thinking something like Akuma's standing heavy kick from like Street Fighter 4, where it's these 2 massive kicks that just push you super forward, and if they hit, oh fuck, you're getting some decent damage and some decent advantage out of it. But if you whiff those kicks, you're screwed. Up tilt, flight cancel. Blood Falcon squats down before going for a full bicycle kick, barely leaving the ground while covering a hemisphere ending 20 degrees above and behind him. Similar to Fox's up smash, while it looks in hitbox angles. The button is held, blood will increase notably. Initial crouch. If he lands afterwards, he will break his fall with his knee and hand against the ground. Without ground underneath him, he'll instead smoothly transition into his regular falling animation once he's ready to act again. Roughly 9% on its own, 13% if it's held. I don't know if you need a held version. I mean, a held up tilt is technically an up smash. Both versions have limited tangibility on both legs. Tap covered knees and shin. Both back hits and tower spots have higher base knockback and worse knockback growth, resulting in worse combo potential despite taking stocks later. Think of the change like Ryu and Ken's late medium attacks, as they both come out at preset times rather than a smash attack. As the distance is easily high enough to land on various platforms. The end leg is not altered based on how early blood lands, with any animation being shortened or extended to compensate. Similarly, he'll always be actionable on the exact same frame, even if he ends while airborne. So I'm just looking over one thing really quickly I might have missed. I'm trying to see if it says anything about the regular tap version having the same amount of range. Oh wait, no. Holding makes it go off the ground higher. Honestly, again, I think it's adding too much to a simple attack. I think that the simple bicycle kick upwards is more than enough. You don't need to add a charged version, because that is what a up smash is for. Not to mention, a tilt that gives you a full hop's worth of aerial range is kind of nuts. And honestly, in most cases, it would probably be better to just short hop up air. Yeah, I would just keep this to the regular bicycle kick if you wanted. I don't think this needs an extra thing to go along with it. 2 moves in one, that's not necessary. Especially if it's something that can just, an up tilt that can, like, avoid attacks is kind of nuts. Especially if it's... Also, a frame 17 tilt is a little much. This moveset was aimed for MYM, where everyone is making moves since the Brawl days. I mean, even so, it's still a little much. I've been making movesets before Brawl, and I think that this is too much. A hyper gimmicky thing to chuck in is that due to Blood's hurtbox shifting and minor height gain from the untapped move, you can theoretically high profile some of the lowest hitboxes in the game. Yeah, that's what concerns me. Acting like it's a Giga Brain tactic to simultaneously dodge and attack opponents would be a bit ridiculous, as since he leaves the ground on the same frame as the hitbox comes out, this is a frame perfect tactic without that much reward, so it's for insane flexes only. I have a very verbose writing style. That's just how I write, but apologies for this. I just like rambling about them. I find a lot to talk about things. I mean, that's fine, but it's just that I'm just trying to condense it down into, you know, something. What's the word I'm looking for here? I guess it's more simple. I guess that's probably the best word to use for it. Just no, simple jab combo doesn't need, you know, a couple pages worth of descriptions. I like that the final hit can spike. That's an interesting thing that we have only one of, technically, through Wii Fit Trainer. The forward tilt doesn't feel like a forward tilt, it feels more like a dash attack. Images are worth 1,000 words. It's easier to digest information when you present everything in easily just chunks. You include reference images to break up the monotony of the text. That would help too. I agree. For jab, I wrote so much because it felt like an unusual jab. One follow-up would poke through shields like down tilts. The headbutt is slow and escapable if they shield, but is safe and strong. I mean, it's fine. I like that you decided to add a bit of, you know, versatility to a jab, which again is something that very, very few characters in Smash actually use in any serious manner. I definitely think that forward tilt is too much. And while I think that a simple bicycle kick as a launcher is enough, I don't think it needs a charge version. Hyper gimmicky thing to charge, but if you want a gimmicky tip, occasionally try crouching for a moment instead of using a held up tilt when the opponent's about to enter an optimal clapping range. You might freak out preemptively use an option that if they're purely looking for movement. Really, the best way to mess with people is just to make them worried they'll use held up tilt at all, as it's huge and an immediate threat upon landing. True of many moves, but you only have so many options when trying to land. Function first, atypical design. A little bit too atypical, honestly. odd place to put one more comment, but putting it before the meta section wouldn't have worked. Just say, I want to say that there is a compensation for this move in lacking a con segment. It's just not in this move. Down tilt, Call of the Abyss. Blood Falcon leaps upward with a similar distance and flipping animation as regular jumps before hesitating at the peak for slight emphasis and unleashing a harsh axe kick as he plummets back down, even causing a roughly Kirby-sized purple explosion by his foot once his heel hits the ground. While the plummeting kick always travels at a steep 80 degrees downward, jump's angle can be altered slightly. Down back will go straight up, down forward twice as far as default. Just to be clear, the bluish text is 100% optional. Those are just my bonus thoughts on varying things. Well, I'll definitely say this. I don't know how I feel about a character having a down tilt where you jump. Again, down tilt's entire point is that it's supposed to be covering low. It hits low, and I get that maybe it does technically hit low and has a decent amount of range to it, but the whole leaping up and attacking is a little much. Yeah, I think that a lot of this is it feels like style over stability, if I were to put it in at least a simple way. Blood Falcon's supposed to play around with core rolls. Jabs are normally slow but weak. His is a bit slower and stronger. Forward tilt is more committal than usual, and down tilt is again up tilt. I get that, but usually these conventions are the way they are for a reason, and I think there are better ways to break the conventions than literally having a character do a button that doesn't really correlate with the way that, with the input that you put in, essentially. Like, maybe this could be the up tilt. A big flashy up tilt. I think that maybe the damage could be a little lower. I don't think you need a 30% tilt. That's a bit steep. I think a frame 40 tilt is also a little bit, you know, antithetical to the whole design of tilt supposed to being very fast. This feels like it could be a forward smash, if anything. Maybe not that slow, but definitely feels like this could be a big stylish forward smash. Or it's like, hey, look how cool I am. I'm gonna do this big, cool trick. And then, you know, he does this. Falcon Ganondorf sacrifice anti-air combo tools for their up tilts, but have good regular down tilts. Blood's the opposite, a great anti-air combo tilt, but a super gimmicky down tilt. It's just the fact that it doesn't feel like a down tilt. That's one of the biggest issues with this. The damage and the speed are... I get that. How fast is Ganon's? I'm gonna do a quick field trip because I know I have Ultimate Frame data saved on my computer. Okay, yeah, his up tilt is 60. So this is technically more damage than Ganon's for a third of the time. You can have stellar substance while still making a move viable. There's a reason Ganon is the worst character in the game. Well, Ganon's the worst character in the game because they arguably don't really know how to balance him properly. But honestly, if you want my opinion, if you want to keep this, why not have this be the fake out? A move, like you could have a simple down tilt on top of this, but if you held the button, then you could get this. I think I would much rather have this be the charge move that gets a different effect from charging rather than a up tilt that can potentially, you know, completely jump over like a lot of lows. At least with this, it's an attack that you're guaranteed to get hit if you throw it out at a really bad time. And it doesn't really, you know, have any sort of, you know, grounded or, you know, protection from above because you're throwing yourself up in the air to attack. So yeah, I think that if you gave him a regular down tilt, but also you maybe gave him this as well, it's like an extra move on top of it, I don't think I would mind that as much as the up tilt having a full jump height's worth of range coverage. But yeah, that's my feelings on it. That way you can have technically both Ganon and Captain Falcon in the same move. The plummeting heal almost always confirms the landing hit in regular play, not counting extreme scenarios. The landing hit deals additional shield damage 2 times on top of the universal multiplier. I fail to see how up tilt isn't okay, but down tilt is. Because the charge down tilt wouldn't protect you, wouldn't potentially throw you out of the way of incoming harm. If the up tilt giving you a full height's worth of advantage if a character wants to go for a low is too much. Thank you, Lawnmower, I appreciate it. But with the down tilt, it's a big move that you have to jump up to use, which means technically you're putting yourself at bigger risk to use it, instead of mitigating risk by using it. So the down tilt charge would make more sense in my opinion, and, you know, be better balanced than a move that mitigates risk by instead giving you a move that increases risk for reward. Charge down tilt does though, it jumps out of the way. I'm assuming not a full jump height's worth of range. Halfway between short hop and full hop in height. So yeah, you see it's shorter. I would tone this down. First off, it doesn't need to be that far, but if it's a decent jump up where they technically have to put themselves at a bigger risk to use it, it's still better than completely mitigating risk with a full hop's worth of range with the up tilt. Falling comfortably into the very slow category of moves, while it's an extremely slow good luck landing this. Even saves the opponent trouble for finishing you off if you use it by a ledge since blood starts plummeting. If there's nothing to stop him on his way down, if his player can't do anything, that respawn platform descends, or they mash A to get through the results screen. You're sacrificing a helpful down tilt for this. Is it worth it? I'd argue not. Now that the paragraphs about realistic outcomes and not optimal decisions are out of the way, we can talk about what really matters. We're here to say fuck it, and we're here to ball. Fuck it, we ball is not always the best mindset to have with fighting game design, in my honest opinion. Opponents tremble in fear when they think of getting hit by this. It's a huge move, technically has infinite range. It seamlessly deletes opponents as if they weren't even there. Probably one shot to Pichu at 0%. That's a little too much. Can't say the full break shields. The opponent's been using theirs even a smidge too much. They better hope that blood takes mercy on them. One move that matters. Not only a move, but you must initiate from the ground. One that never grabs ledges. If you're a dweeb who only cares about practicality, that may register as a downside. Well, I guess I am a dweeb that cares a lot about practicality. My main question is, what is this character's neutral? You have a decent up tilt, like a base up tilt, like a frame 6 up tilt. That's not bad. Decent anti-air for that. So you have coverage from above, but you don't really have many options to deal with people that are directly in front of you. You can't commit to full. You don't really want to commit too much to this or forward tilt, because the chances of having you punished are extremely high. This character's neutral is mostly aerials, threatening grabs, and occasionally risky burst options. Run-up jab is safe. If they don't see it coming, sure. But most of the time, run-up anything is very easy to telegraph. To use, find a way and send the greatest message of all time. You hit the opponent with a beyond impractical move, and they should feel bad about it. If there was a practical way to frame trap them, then it's not that impractical. I guess if you want real upside, unlike those two chumps with their axe kicks, the rest of Blood Falcon's grounded moves will fill out enough niches that it's kind of okay to sacrifice down tilt for this. Jab, safe pressure, and combos rolled into one. Forward tilt's the long range burst option, and up tilt actually does what you think an up tilt does. Not saying having a regular practical down tilt wouldn't be better, but the other moves should be enough if you're not a complainer. Well, I am a bit of a complainer. I am a bit of a stickler for the uniform design of how Smash movesets usually function. To be fair, this character is faster than Falcon. How often do you react to Falcon at mid-range suddenly running it into you? Depends who you're playing. If it's someone like Marth, very easily. If it's somebody with stubbier range like Mario, maybe a little bit more difficult. Don't need to know the meta. Forward smash, pedestal shatter. Blood Falcon unleashes a mule kick reminiscent of Ryu's forward smash. Far more ferocity than discipline. Coating his foot in dark energy for kicking full force forward. Whether relishing the moment or just needing time to charge up his dastardly energy, he takes his time. Will ignore shields. Hitting a shielding opponent will do the same damage, knockback, and hit stun to them as if they took it head on. That needs to go. Nope, I'm sorry. You can't have a move that completely nullifies a major mechanic of the game. I know you gotta give Yoshi. Well, command grabs are different. You can stop command grabs. Grabs are designed to punish shield. That's their main design. But this also isn't a command grab, it's a normal. %25%. Frame 17 comes off frame 29. It's pretty long. Pretty long charge time for a move that only does 18 damage base. Slower than Ganondorf forward smash, and it's extremely telegraphed. I mean, even then, I think it's still too much. Also, I think Ganondorf is the exact same. Yeah, Ganondorf is also frame 29. I could not imagine Ganondorf with a fucking forward smash that ignores shields. Kazuya has EWGF that ignores shield, but nobody likes that move. I like that move. I mean, Kazuya. It's also a move that has very short range. And requires a perfect input in order to perform. But that's besides the point. Ideally programmed to ignore shields altogether, acting the same as any other move, and only looking for their hurt box. If that doesn't work for whatever reason, arguably it doesn't. Backup alternative would be to layer a unique command grab-esque hitbox on top of the normal move, which takes priority if it detects a shield. Despite the move bypassing shields, does not have an innate 1.5 shield damage bonus that stacks with the universal multiplier. Regular moves. This would be relevant. Bro, this isn't illegal. I'd argue it is. Insert customary heavyweight forward smash benefits here. Gives the opposing player a heart attack if it lands. It's sizable and it feels amazing to use successfully. However, one of the usual downsides, really unsafe on shield, doesn't apply here because shields don't matter. I think that's a major weakness that should not be removed. That's kind of the entire point of smash attacks in general. Smash attacks and shields have a very, very volatile relationship. One can beat the other, but if the other knows what they're doing, then they have the advantage. For example, perfect shields beat everything, regardless of how much shield pressure they do. But poor shielding usually results in your shield getting broken from attacks like this. The character's forward smash also beats shield since it's a command grab. Feels more like a Rivals of Aether thing, honestly, than a Smash character. You could probably tell someone likes talking a lot about the psychological side of these moves. There's nothing like this in Smash. One thing that comes to mind is most players' tendencies to shield when they're in danger, not expecting a grab. This treat it like a command grab, and again, some of the human brain doesn't work that way. That's true, you'd be rewiring a lot of fucking people. There's a lot of consistencies in Smash where you're basically trained to know specific things, and usually if a Smash attack is coming your way, your brain is wired to either block or dodge. And depending on how close you are, it's usually block. To reinforce Smash kicking animation like you can shield in hindsight when going through most scenarios of the match, watching someone else play or reading a moveset, but in the heat of the moment, you've got a split second to react and choose this precision. Stakes are high and you might be able to lose a stock. Certainly not Snake's forward smash, since there's a bit of delay to it, but the inability to shield makes it excellent for punishing spot dodges or bad ledge get-ups. But even if you keep the timing slightly, these aren't any command grabs that let you pick the timing like this. Not counting the held ones like Wario's or the sucks. So it's a unique upside if a bit situational. It's used sparingly. Looking for the perfect moment is imperative. I think again, ignoring shields outright is a bit much. But I think there's definitely ways you can play into it fucking with shields that aren't just ignoring the shield altogether. Maybe it's a move that's extremely good at shield stabbing people. Or it has unique shield stabbing properties. I know technically that's what this could be described as, but you know, made in a better way that a proper shield should still be able to beat this. And what about a perfect shield? That's also a better question. I wrote it down somewhere in the move. She just it does the EWGF thing where it knocks them away, makes it 100% safe, but doesn't do further harm. Again, EWGF is a very specific thing that its mechanics are very specific for a reason and should not really be put on, you know, universal things like a forward smash. At least it's not down tilt since it still kills decently and it'll be faster. Up smash, sucker punch. Blood Falcon drops his guard and slips blisteringly fast. Does a blisteringly fast punch to the gut, chuckling all the while. Angling diagonally upwards and up and backwards. The move can be performed in the opposite direction, even if used out of shield. That's fine. 13.18.2 comes out frame 6. There are up smashes that come out frame 6. Up smash, a purely horizontal hitbox. Wait, what the fuck? Angling up. Probably end the section right there and then. Other downsides are likely as clean and simple is merely an all finisher compared to a great one. Like a ton of up smashes, you aren't guaranteed to miss, and oh boy, that end leg. Can imagine a lot of players rather swap up tilt and up smash inputs. Up tilt could be great in the slot, similar with high speed, or to be better rewards when tapped. Yeah, I think, you know, an up smash that... If the up smash charge gives you the hop, then that's fine, because that's something you have to commit to in order to get. And usually it would only be if it's fully charged. It's much more flickable than forward smash. Both these moves sacrifice a lot of their gimmicks. Up smash, more reserved. So on top of yet another obvious hole, this opens in Blood's kit. You'll also have to accept that smashes are quite situational, requiring plenty of patience and restraint. Lets you haphazardly throw your stock away. That being said, frame 6 out shield kill move is nasty. Like the heroic and honest captain, shielding Bloodfall, safe to be around. Less you guys in the pressure of sharp eye for his personal space. The vulnerability to cross ups and downsides, and it's not a common problem. Most up smashes hit both sides. The ones that don't are often close enough to their body that you have to get lucky and clip somebody standing too close. Arguably, most people want a way to pit people out of the air proactively. I mean, yeah, that's kind of the point. Might be willing to sacrifice some frame data to make it less of a commitment, and yet this move puts a strong argument for itself. A risky one, definitely, but the reward is nothing to scoff at. Yeah, I'm fine with every aspect of it except for the fact that it launches horizontally. I think that that's kind of stupid, honestly. It doesn't even really make sense. I think the best thing that you could do is just have it launch 45-degree angle. It's called the up smash for a reason. You're covering above you and you're launching things upwards. Out smashes on the input because out smashes are the only ground moves you can directly do out of shield. That's what I wanted to focus on. Well, I mean, there's also up special, but I don't agree with the horizontal launch. I think it should be, if you want to make it up and away, you know, that's fine. You know, again, the 45-degree angle. You hit if you're... Why must the Yao shield always be up? I couldn't tell you, but that's just the way the game is. Yeah, I would just change the launch angle like a little bit. Again, Smash has a lot of conventions that are the way they are for a reason, and I think that going against them isn't really the best idea for design. Did you just stop my fucking playlist? God damn it. And down smash is over-eager gut shot. A Blood Falcon thrusts his arms back, taking a moment to channel his arc energy around his fist before throwing a devastating hook, slightly curved downwards. Although in his haste, ready to the punch, his bent elbow will shift with a swift hit itself, shoving anyone behind him out of the way. Curiously, down smash's charging window is placed after the initial backwards hit, meaning it's impossible to charge the elbow strike only the second hit. So technically it's a one-sided down smash, which is okay. It's basically just a one-sided down smash with extra steps. For the most part, that seems okay, I guess. Making a hook punch or a down smash might look a little bit awkward. It hits on both sides as he thrusts his arm back. The elbow hits behind him. Yes, exactly, but you said the elbow hits at the beginning of the charge animation, so technically the down smash itself, the full charge, is after the initial backwards hit, which means it's technically a one-sided down smash. As I said, it's a down smash, a one-sided down smash with extra steps. We spent an hour on this and we're not even close to being done. Fuck. Really? Oh, Jesus Christ. Punch of Stone, frame 18. Signature trick of this move, opponent standing point blank behind Blood Falconer, constantly quaking in their boots, just thinking about the elbow hitbox. I mean, probably not that much of a problem, honestly, but possibly the most consistent smash attacks in the game, especially given its speed. The closer you get to a frame 1 charge window, the quicker you want both press and release the button, which I bet isn't something you think about often. You've got a frame 5 up smash and the opponent hits your shield with a -5 move. Every frame counts. Point being, it's not nearly as relevant as it is with Blood's up smash. And shields, backwards elbow hits. You have both a quick move, burn through loads of start before charging the attack that matters. Little to no sacrifices made. Mixed advantage. Again, it's kind of hard to visualize what these like. The descriptions give enough of an idea of what it could look like, but it's kind of hard to picture how a hook punch could work for a down smash. Because almost every down smash in the game, except for the characters that do like leaping slams, and even then that's pretty much only a thing in Ultimate, the characters like Ridley, K. Rool, and Incineroar. Most, if not all characters, when they do a down smash, their body is like very low to the ground. Or, you know, they have an attack that hits very low to the ground. I kind of picture in the same way Falcon Punch has him squat down. It's just that you don't want it to feel like a forward smash. That's kind of the thing that has me a little bit concerned with the animation in and of itself. Because while Falcon does squat down for his Falcon Punch, it's not super low to the ground, and punching forward from that pose would probably look more like a forward smash than a down smash. And again, that's the big issue here. Down smash is honestly the idea I'm least proud of here. I liked it conceptually, but messed up the execution. I mean, that's fine. It's just needs to be, you know, revised a little bit. I think it's I like the idea that you basically have a quick extra move at the very beginning of the charge animation that can be used for like spacing and stuff like that. Especially, you know, if you like, let's say the next smash has perfect pivoting. If you like perfect pivoted a down smash to hit in front of you with the elbow, that'd be neat. It's a quick, simple hit that could throw people off. But it's just that the animation itself, I think, needs to be revised a little bit. Like maybe instead of a hook punch, he like punches the ground and releases like a wave, like a blast of dark energy or something along those lines. Alright, dash attack, spin attack. Blood Falcon's hands glow a bright green as he flips himself upside down. Fine physics as he simultaneously performs a head spin kick with both legs wide out. Imagine the captain's gap attack while sliding 4.5 tiles forward. This move is amplified if performed out of a run rather than initial dash, gaining buff to its damage, dealing stronger knockback, and traveling further and faster. Start strong before the lingering hitboxes gradually weaken. The dash attack that does 18% is pretty generous. I mean, the regular version on its own is already like Ganon strong levels of strong. Like 15% is pretty up there. Similar to forward tilt, earliest hits have high base knockback and great growth. All the growth depleting for later hits. The first has lower base knockback. Starts on bring 14. Goes far, brute force, strength, and distance synergize wonderfully with Blood Falcon's sheer speed. It's impossible to raw react to, so an opponent watching him zip forward has to be preemptively cautious around it, giving him a paranoia advantage. I mean, jump. Blood Falcon sprinting at you isn't just scary because he might dash attack, but it's because it's not related to worry about in dash attack's case. If the opponent tries to run away or back roll, both duration and distance will make it superb for catching those. Also compare this to a bunch of run-up attacks or grabs. A ton of characters will have to get right in the opponent's face as they attack, whether it's due to losing the momentum or having relatively short range. Yeah, another way the gigantic brute range helps, as Blood can use this sprinted version up to 2.5 tiles early and still land the sweet spot just fine, further mitigating the startup. Forward tilt's probably better for a risk versus reward, but dash attack is easily the second best option. And way stronger. Might want a big dumb kill move that offers something stationary, like your stationary smashes, vertical up tilt, and held back forward tilt can't offer. That's where dash attack delivers. Bonus tip that might be obvious to some, but remember that you can perform tilts out of an initial dash. I take it this was designed during the days of Smash 4 when that wasn't a thing, but it is now. Because nowadays you can do pretty much everything out of an initial dash. Minuscule flaw, but it's worth knowing that Blood's legs are just high enough to potentially high profile some flattened hitboxes. Similarly, putting this here since the niche doesn't fill. The tilt's right there, so Blood's still got an option for ledge hangs. Just don't get your hopes up if you use strong lingering hit dash attack and the deities, they aren't the same. Huge burst movement means that if you don't cross up, you're always left point blank in front of the opponent if they shield it. Standard. More relevant that this is Blood Falcon's last non-grab, non-special ground move. Put the pieces together, you start to realize how specialized these are. Sure, you've got a variety of ways to kill people, but does that help much exactly? I'd argue not. I'd argue this, his grounded kit is very, very hit or miss. Might be a general issue with this kit, but dash attack definitely doesn't fix it. Dash attack doesn't fill the hole, what will? Held up tilt for ground air hits. Forward tilt being the safer option was intended, but I didn't justify using dash attack over it well enough. I think it's kind of hard to justify using... If a move that throws you forward and covers a decent amount, you know, throws you forward, decent amount of range, decent damage, is better than the other move that throws you forward, decent amount of range, and does decent damage, then it kind of makes the other option fairly lackluster. This was written 3 months ago. I also need to rebalance forward tilt and dash attack. The idea that was DA was a high risk, high reward version, but I didn't do well distinguishing them enough. In keeping track of each move so far. Some overlap with forward tilt. You spin attack as forward tilt, and he has slide kick dash attack. It wouldn't be a contest whatsoever. Side grades are possible. It's just a balance to strike. True, but again, it's sacrificing, I think, a little bit too much. From what I'm being described here, it sounds like this character heavily has to rely on aerials in order to get any sort of, in order to have any sort of like notable neutral presence that isn't, you know, burst forward to deal damage. Bit more flash than substance, unfortunately. You'll look cool while doing it, but you can't head spin away problems forever. You better head spin those problems so hard they apologize and leave you alone. I mean, the attack itself sounds fine. Sounds a little goofy, honestly, but other than that, I mean, the attack itself sounds okay. Like, no real issues with that. Blood Falcon swings his leg in nearly a full half circle beneath him, punting forward. 9 damage behind, 11 damage in front. Low base knockback, low knockback growth. Sounds fairly standard for a neutral air. If you hit them with the early hit backward hitbox, pushes them forward. And loads of combos if you hit the ground shortly after. Jabbing up till they're good ways to keep things going. Lower percents at mid percents. It's a little more reliant on landing an earlier hit to keep them within range, but even then your options might falter a little. Much like a certain heroic racer, one thing, another change to itself. 0% all the way to higher percents. Beating short hop neutral airs are a great way to rack up damage. You know, if they don't DI out of it. So we have a high speed character with a sideways launching combo aerial, one that also comes into itself. If you can't combo them anymore, put them in a bad spot for an edge guard slash gimp. Don't want to commit to something risky though. Neutral air is clean and simple, pulls its weight and acts as a simple combo star extender and finisher. Sounds, you know, again, very standard. I don't think I need to read any of this. Again, it's a simple move. Forward aerial side attack. Blood Falcon scrunches up before bursting. Nearly rolls distance forward, lunging into a brutish shoulder bash, will code in the same red outline as the source game. Always sends him forward the same distance, overriding his horizontal momentum once he bursts forward. However, his vertical momentum isn't, as blood will travel in different angles based on his vertical momentum. As the hitbox ends, Blood's sideways velocity screeches to a halt, still allowing him to strafe during the end leg, but making him rely on his air acceleration, pick up speed again. Deals 20% throughout, tends to kill 115, 135, comes out frame 19. technically it's, you know, it's slower than knee. %20 throughout, though, might be a bit much. I would make it lose its damage over time. Maybe the initial hit could be 20, because, I mean, it's fair. Falcon's knee is 22%. But I would make it like slightly lose its damage over the course of its duration. Or hell, if you really want, have it deal more damage near the end after picking up enough speed. Make it the Dr. Mario neutral air of Falcon knees, I don't know. Either or works, honestly. Especially if you're covering that much range. Blood's momentum is calculated on frame 5 activation, meaning if he isn't charged for momentum at startup, deals lots of hit stop, which is fair. Inflicts to burst of speed appears out, so having a start strong, get weaker is better. Okay, good. Inflicts exponentially higher pushback on shields, often pushing characters at least a full terrain mode tile backwards. We'll eventually calculate the thresholds for how fast his upward downward velocity has to be. But that's an annoying process, so I'll come back to this. Fair brings some fascinating qualities to the table. First option, forward. It also offers some extra vertical reach. Fair can throw in places few characters could. Winding Bloods. Threat range is discouraging opponents from believing they're safe. And the base description was good enough. I don't think I need to read a majority of this. I haven't even mentioned the differing launch angles, which grants additional confirms to complexify this further. Both players are off station, you're looking to finish them off. The downward variance discussed in Ganondorf causes you a forward tilt-esque angle. It's the best choice. Sideways is simply alright, and the upward version sends them more forward with good DI. Full steam ahead, no regrets basically means you throw yourself forward. If you throw yourself out of position, you get punished. Again, it sounds fine. Sounds again like a nice alternative to Falcon's knee. Instead of being a very short-range, powerful move, it's a move that starts strong at the beginning but covers more range in exchange for losing damage over the duration of it. Don't really have a problem with that one, honestly. Did I skip back here? No? No, I guess... Sorry, I'm used to seeing back air after... Sorry, I'm used to seeing up air after back air. Sorry. Up air after forward air. I usually go counterclockwise. Blood Falcon as it performs a flashy backflip, turning himself around before using the momentum to stomp as hard as he can. Using both feet, the stomp performed at a slight angle and straight downwards. Flashy backflip, turning himself around. Early hit deals 11%, late hit deals 10%. Comes up frame 14. Not be around the bush here, you know what this is and why it exists, and you know what the comparison is, so we'll include it in the discussion. Play modified Captain Falcons. Fair for combos and angle is nastier, but his inexperience with it means it's weaker. I mean, sounds fair. Instead of, you know, using his arm, he uses both of his legs. Sounds barely comparable to Mario's back air. Easiest difference to notice is the blood stops and angle behind him. Tilted rather than straight down. Oh wait, no, it's a... No, wait a second. Is this a spike? It's always advantages to come purely vertical hitboxes. Ambiguous and tricky to perform, more like this makes far worse degree. Follow up this from above. Something that Captain Falcon is amazing at what it is. Like how it drops down down air. Picture a vague area beneath the ledge. See, it's a tricky downside when trying to poke through platforms, as blood will struggle to clip anyone but the tallest hitboxes in the game. Hurt boxes, sorry, in the game. That being said, there's still plenty of usable 2 frames when the opponent stepping on the ledge. It'll still clip through just fine. A little faster in all categories, shaving a frame or 2 off of his startup end leg, landing leg. Light hits less appealing despite the weaker knockback. Quick nair, up air, maybe another back air. The timing and percents are notably stricter. Hey Joe. Regardless of either hit, you fair, but as always it's hard. The execution is one thing. The window can vary quite a bit. Think of it as a second section. Questions after Nair. I'm sorry, I'm legitimately starting to get like exhausted reading this. Think of it like a second section of exam questions after Nair. It's going to take some time to memorize them, but the potential is there. You can always use the sharp upwards angle and hits done to go for reset reads, just like the original. Plus, you didn't put a thing in your Discord. The stream went live. Yeah, I forgot. Sorry, I was in a rush today. I woke up late. Pays the price for the speed increase via inferior power. Something Captain Falcon has the strongest hitbox in the universe. The Smash Hit 64 vets hit the sour spots. Its hilariously powerful sideways launcher kills shockingly early. Thought you could skim through this, but it might have been unrealistic. Well, some of the moves don't describe the move in like super like great description, so I have to skim through some of the pluses in order to get a little bit more information. But maybe I should start skimming more. Am I gonna have to put a word limit rule for cleared for battle? I think I might have to. Launch angles are a curious case. Is there part why it's so bad? Finishers on stage. Bro, we've been here for over an hour and a half. I know! Up air. Blood Falcon throws a familiar. Also, first off, that move is fine. The description of it is a little weird, but it sounds fine for the most part. Up air. Blood Falcon throws a familiar looking overhead punch with an emphasis on speed rather than power, or using momentum to twirl around swiftly, turning to face the opposite direction while throwing a much beefier uppercut like backhand strike with the same fist, likewise launching them behind instead. Wait, what? I was about to say, please don't tell me this launches horizontally. Okay, yeah, okay. 35 degrees is fine. There are back airs that do that. Sorry, there are up airs that do that. I'm pretty sure Doc's aerial is pretty close to that. Both inflict extremely little shield stun relative to normal. I mean, seems simple enough. It's a simple up to hit up to up air that seems perfectly fine. Down air, hawk dive. Blood Falcon performs a curled up front flip, diving diagonally downwards, reaching his arms toward his prize and looking to snake in the unfortunate soul on the way down. Technically only half of a stalling fall, an odd one at that. While the dive indeed overrides his momentum, sending him forwards and downwards no matter what, he'll act as normal until the attack comes out, and the dive can be altered. Like forward air, the dive speed and trajectory have 3 variations based on blood speed and your direction prior to activation. Losing the horizontal speed for default, significant speed the same direction as down air for the forward variant, and vice versa for the backward variant. Although the downward distance always remains the same, the forward and backward variants add or remove the 3 tiles of horizontal distance respectively. Acting as a command... Look, I know that Rivals has characters with moves, like normal moves, that are command grabs. But that something that I do not agree that belongs in Smash Brothers. You could have this be a fast falling down air. I'm thinking something like Nova's like jumping like launcher from Marble 3, where he drags people back down towards the ground and maybe he can get a combo off of it. But command grab is a bit much. This time using the momentum to get the opponent down the same angle he was traveling. In addition, this will refresh his double jump. If it was already expended, if it fails to snag anyone, he'll simply flip back into his regular stance with the ground frustration. On landing, Blood will roll forward, soften this crash, traveling half a roll's distance forward. Uniquely, this roll can continue past the ledge if he runs out of ground to roll upon, leaving him to fall for the rest of his end leg. What's wrong with Smash having it? I'd argue that Smash just doesn't need it. Smash already has, you know, again, its uniform design is something that really doesn't need to be messed with too much. Which is why, again, I see a lot of people talking about, like, reboots changing Smash mechanics, and I think that none of them know what they're talking about.
You don't need to reinvent the wheel with Smash Brothers. You just need to put back what was there that worked, like wave dashing and, you know, higher center of gravity when crouching and better shields, but maybe not Smash 4 level strong shields, but you get the point. Deals 15% damage, comes out frame 15. Successful grab yeets on frame 25. Again, if it was a like dashing down air that you can get combos off of, I think that'd be fine. I think that there needs to be better utility in down air, in fast fall down airs in general, because majority of them in Smash are kind of garbage, honestly. But I don't think this is the way to do it. I don't think you need a down air command grab. A combo extending down air, a fast fall down air would be interesting. But a straight up command grab is just, it's not necessary. It doesn't matter if it's fun. There are a lot of things that could be fun, but I feel that's something that's better left for a Rivals of Aether character design than something that belongs in Smash Brothers. Grab, standard grab, although Bloods is a little bit more malicious than usual. Forwards an extra step towards reverse grab, quickly turning around and back flipping forward. Then performing the grab the moment he completes a full rotation. This isn't necessary. There are no characters in Smash that have different grab animations if they're pivoting. It's pretty much just turn around and grab somebody. Again, there are some things in Smash you don't need to overdo. I talked about this last time when we were talking about Bomberman. There's a lot of things in Smash that are very simple and do not need to be overdone, and one of them is definitely grab and throws. Grab's a grab. Throws are usually 1 to 2 things before the opponent is launched away. You don't need to do, you know, big elaborate animations for stuff like that because it takes up time. And there's a reason why a lot of fucking people hate the throw animations in games like Mortal Kombat 1 because they literally take forever. Pummel, very simple. Forward throw. Blood pulls the opponent closer, staring him down the eye with it. With his free hand, he swiftly pulls out his pistol, holds it against their torso, rapidly blasting them 3 times at point-blank range, or harshly kneeing them away to dispose of them. As I was just saying, I think that you could cut this down a little bit. You don't need, you know, we don't need Mortal Kombat throws in Smash. We don't want Mortal Kombat throws in Smash because Mortal Kombat throws take like 7 seconds. 7 to 8 seconds to fucking happen. Honestly, if you wanted, you could have it him just the pistol blasts in the torso would probably be more than enough. You know, just 1, 2, 3 shoot, like just like something kind of like Fox's, but you know, a little bit more malicious to fit Blood Falcon. Blood Falcon hoists his opponent upward, slamming them back and slamming them back down against the pan behind him. Ah, yes! As the once legendary Dagoth once said, Hip toss Argonians into the pavement. Quick, simple, works. I don't need to know if it combos or not. I just need to know how the move looks and works. Up throw, sharp edge, blood, falcon hucks the opponent up lightly upwards, confirming into an upward slice and kick to launch them up. Similar to the first hit of Captain Falcon's up smash. Nearly identically to the first hit of Captain Falcon's up smash, actually. Same animation post huck, only slightly modified to make the single kick look natural, and most importantly, same egregiously generous scooping hitboxes can deal collateral damage to any opponent that gets too close. Simple, works. 1-2, again, most throws in Smash, the most they are is 1 or 2 things. Unless, you know, you're Kazuya and you get the big fancy camera when you do, like back throw and forward throw, whatever. But even then, there's still only 1 or 2 things before he launches them away. How is this still going on? Words. There's a lot. Oh, I missed the down throw. Hang on a second. Wait. Oh, there it is. Early retirement. Blood Falcon cackles the elites upward. Victim hand and raised proudly high before slamming them directly into the ground with gravity's assistance. After a brief moment to let them appreciate the dirt, he grips them in his titans only before he holds them away behind him. That sounds more like a back throw. I think maybe if you wanted to do something a little bit different, but you want, you know, to make them say, like, have him savor what he's about to do, maybe have him badmouth them before he choke slams them into the floor. I feel that would be a little bit better because, again, remember, one to 2 things before the opponent is thrown away. You also don't want to down throw that throws directly behind or like. There are very few down throws where the opponent is launched more horizontally than vertically. One of the few ones that comes to mind is Sonic's because his down throw sucks. It's supposed to synergize with his pivot grab. If he grabs them from behind, he can do either a combo or a kill throw. Wario down throw sends backwards and horizontally. Wario's down throw also sucks. and should probably be retuned, but the point still stands is that the animation needs to be a little bit shorter. If you want to keep the launch angle, fine. If it works with some of the aspects of the design, that's fine, but I think that, you know, having you sit there and just rub their face in the dirt is a little bit too much. Alright, we're at the specials. Oh, they've been going for 2 hours, almost 2 hours. Blood Falcon grimaces as the blood energy surrounds his hand. Gleefully swings it forward in an overhead slash with his hand. Throw motion, leaving massive slash marks in its wake, unlike a souped up version of Wolf's. If it successfully connects, dark red aura will appear around him. Default expression changes to a toothy grin. This state, named Bloodlust, will last for 8 seconds, in which Blood Falcon will gain a variety of power-ups. All moves will receive 1.5 damage bonus. Let me just frame 19. Oh yeah, by the way, if I do a word limit, it's gonna be like, at most, like 10,000 words. I have some scripts that don't even reach 10,000 words. I would also like to say that I might not be able to get to your moveset today, Old Man Han. I might have to forego it in order to get some other movesets done. Because I know that you've been saying that yours is very long, and again, I don't want it to just be 1 or 2 movesets. Would a personal worded review... Mine is half as long as Blood Falcon, but it's your choice to make. If it's half as long, it's still 50,000 words. That's still 50,000 words. Cleared for Battle, episode 2.6. I can't keep doing these every week. I need to do work on videos. Mine is 17K. 17K isn't terrible. I'll consider it, but we should get through this first. He successfully connects similarly dark red orb around him. Well, it's a big move that gives you a bonus. All moves is a 1.25 damage bonus. Only select moves will receive respective knockback bonuses. That should be probably toned down to like 1.15 if it's universal for every single move. Connecting the move once again will reset the timer and add another 3 seconds to the maximum. His movement speed and damage get increased for 8 seconds. That's too much. A character getting a 25% damage bonus and nearly getting close to Sonic's speed. You know, going from very bad dash to top 5, you know, and getting the fastest aerial speed in the game. And on top of that, if you connect another one, it adds to the timer. Yeah, that's a little bit much. Shouldn't be worse than a hero simultaneous oomph and acceleratl. 8 seconds is too much for that. I don't even know how I would repurpose this, because landing this, well, first off, I would make it so that you have to this aspect needs to go. Like, this right here needs to just, no. It doesn't matter if you land it again, it should not extend the timer. I also think that 8 seconds is probably too long. At most, a character that fast can get a lot done in fucking 8 seconds. In my oomph and accelerator are 10 seconds. Just because something is badly designed in Smash doesn't mean that it's immediately a good design for somebody else. Hero also isn't the second fastest character in the game. Hero is designed to be barely average so that everything around him makes him slightly better. I had to step out for a little bit there. We finally at the specials. Yes, we're at the specials. But yeah, I would say that the resetting the timer and adding another 3 seconds. Oh, so it's not just that it adds 3 seconds. The timer goes up every time you use it. You know, third for 11. Second is 11. 3 for 14. Not necessary. I think that it should have a set timer that can't be affected by outside means. You can let them move again if you want, but doing so doesn't extend anything. Because if you want to keep stats like this, there needs to be some sort of limitation. The reason that boosts technically work for Hero but don't work for a lot of other characters is because Hero, in a lot of ways, is very stilted and very slow. This character is faster than Falcon. On his own, before any buffs. I would also pick whether or not you want to boost speed or power. I don't think you should have all of them. If you want my personal opinion, I think that maybe he should have a speed boost instead of a damage boost. Hero's normals are broken. Hero has the worst up smash in the game. But yeah, I think you should choose between a power or speed boost. I think if you wanted to give him a speed boost that gets him close to Sonic, gives him better aerial speed and initial dash, maybe he doesn't need to have the fastest aerial speed. Maybe he could go up to a decent, like top 10. But I don't think he needs to be the fastest in the game. And again, I think the timer does not need to be reset. In my opinion, this should last... No, we can't play that. No, YouTube, we can't play that. That's copyrighted music. I just realized that the fucking... It hasn't been playing my soundtrack for the stream for a while now. Thanks. I think a good idea is to plus speed minus weight. Honestly, it's not a bad idea. You get a little bit of a buff, but you also get a little bit of a nerf instead, so you have to really be careful with your options. Yeah, I think this needs to be a little bit retuned in some spots. Maybe if you, I see you talking about choosing one or the other. That's an option, but I definitely think that it needs to be. Oh, I skipped side special. Fuck, where are you? Tail drift. Blood Falcon begins to slide sideways, bracing his legs in an almost squat-like stance while his body faces the screen. Very reminiscent of grinding along a railing. His boots scraping up bright green sparks. For as long as the button is held, Blood Falcon will keep traveling forward, building up speed until he caps out 5.0 units. Each frame includes side B's done in the opposite direction, allowing him to instantly reverse his momentum. I would have him probably slow down a little bit while turning around. You know. If there's any aspect to that, I think that that kind of speed should not be allowed to instantly turn around. That's kind of one of the major reasons why Sonic is as obnoxious as he is. All momentum is preserved, the blood leaves the ground and enters the air. Same goes for vice versa. He can't turn it around. Use horizontal speed. But it says he can instantly reverse his momentum by doing it in the opposite direction. I don't know how I feel about that. The slide picks up speed, and the observant eye can notice his fists or likewise intensifying. On releasing the button, he abruptly punches, his back facing the screen as he puts all that speed into the blow. Speed can directly correlate. It's just, I mean, he can run in one direction, then side B to instantly turn around. But he's committing to side B. It's just making that initial turn smooth. I would have it start slightly slower if you're doing it immediately in the opposite direction. I know that the argument would probably be, but Falcon doesn't slow down. Well, technically, Falcon stops before he does Raptor Boost. Activated midair, Blood will not lose momentum whatsoever, perfectly preserving speed even after his end leg as long as he still remains airborne, touching the ground again slowing down by 0.0 frame. Well, this momentum will be instantly negated if he performs a jump, directional air dodge, or up B. Finally, side B cannot grab the ledge before or during the punch. However, past a certain point in his end leg, gains the ability to do so. So essentially, what it is, it's a I almost say it's like spin dash. I almost said spin dash Falcon Punch. Takes 80 frames to reach top speed, 1.333 seconds. How much stage coverage can you get in 1.333 seconds out of 5 units of speed? Sonic can make it from the one end of the stage to the other, and that in less than that time. Good side B's down the opposite direction line. Test it not much, that's the point. You usually use its slower speeds. I'm kind of at a little bit of a loss for words on how the hell I would rebalance this. So I can definitely see that some things need to change, but I'm not entirely sure where to start, and it might just be because I've been talking about this moveset for almost 2 hours. There are also some aspects that aren't described super well as well. Brief period after initiating the move where blood cannot release the punch, even a tapped input resulting in a minimum startup. Past that, he is free to release on any frame he pleases. In fact, if he wishes to, he can keep sliding indefinitely. Up to 26% at full speed. Mileage may vary. Here's the thing. I like the idea of a mobility tool mixed in with an explosive damage option. It's interesting. It's not something that's really in Smash right now. Usually it's one or the other. And even if there are mobility tools that do lead to explosive damage, their range is usually extremely limited. Like Raptor Boost, for example. Very fast, but it only covers a very set amount of range. Maybe instead of it being a move where you constantly move forward while technically, holding the punch, maybe you can turn it into a charge move that covers more range and travels faster the longer you charge it for. Or you can make it an even more extreme version of Falcon Punch, where it has a set amount of charge time you need to get the punch, and it does decent damage at close range, like a Falcon Punch, maybe a little bit less if you want to speed it up a little bit. But if you choose to charge it, you'll fly forward much faster. You'll fly forward much further and much faster, and allow you, to catch people off guard. Essentially, you can turn Falcon Punch you can crossbreed it with Ike's side special, except better and faster. If you charge it to its extreme, the true definition of all or nothing, speed and power. I'm doing everything I can. I'm putting everything I can to this move just to show how much better I am at this than you are. Sounds very Blood Falcon-y to me. Extreme upsides if it lands, extreme downsides if it whiffs or it's blocked. Basically a charge move, the further you go, the stronger it is. True, but the point I'm trying to say is that maybe you don't need the mobility while you're charging. The mobility should come once the charge is released. Yeah, I've got a Falcon Punch of my own. And just to prove how much better it is than yours, I travel much further, I travel much faster, and I can hit harder than you, but it'll take a lot longer to get to, but goddamn if it hits, oh, it's worth it. Why? Because I am that much better than you. I feel that fits Blood Falcon pretty well. Or hell, you could just turn into a mobility only option. Where you get that big amount of speed, but there's no punch at the end. And, you can do setups out of it, You jump, you'll carry your momentum, and you can do stuff like... The character like Falcon had, you could probably do stuff like, down there, into knee, and stuff along those lines. It feels like there's something that needs to be changed. It feels like it's there's potential for 2 moves in one here. Take one aspect. I think you should take one aspect of the move and make it the main focus. It should either be a big punch or a big mobility tool. I don't think it should be a big mobility tool mixed with a punch. I think one or the other is more than enough. Up special, hot-blooded. Blood Falcon squats down slightly, curling his arms and fists inward as he channels energy, creating an aura of dark purple energy around his body. After a moment, he leaps, surging headfirst in a chosen direction. As a number of similarities to Rosalina's launch star in midair. He's changed for a prominently delayed startup. Has higher end leg. Blood has a hitbox the moment he starts flying until he's about to become tired. Alongside that, he has a full body super armor throughout nearly the entire move. I don't think consistent super armor is needed. Maybe at the beginning, Shoryuken, you have like intangibility at the beginning, and from that point on, it's vulnerable. I don't think you need full armor on the entire thing. Blood Falcon's physics are also far heavier and prominent than Space Mom, traveling only slightly faster once he jumps, but both reaches the arc's peak and plummets soon afterwards far quicker. They should roughly match his usual movements. When initiated on the ground, he has identical startup power and hitboxes, end leg, etc., but will travel about a third of the normal distance with similarly reduced duration. That all sounds perfectly fine. Sounds like a nice alternative to Captain Falcon's option. And down special, Bloodbane. On the ground, Blood Falcon's grin reappears as he winds his leg backwards, again coating the limb in signature dark purpley energy, before performing a rather familiar stretch kick upwards, forming a crescent smear particle in front of him. A brief laugh in the air. Blood instead prepares his fist in much the same way, raising it above and slightly behind him in dramatic preparation, throwing a devastating punch downwards. Both moves can be delayed up to 30 frames by holding the button. These will naturally increase the startup, but compensate by slightly reducing the end lag. Both versions deal 17 to 30% based on charge. Maybe tone that down, maybe 25, 26% at full charge is enough. Ground version kills, air version kills on stage between 130 and 80%, off stage kills between 25 and 0% without much charge required. That might need to change a little bit. Don't want 0 to deaths on anybody. It's not fun. Most characters that have 0 to deaths, they have to basically get it by dumb luck, like Ganondorf. Even then, I think there are better ways to show power with Ganondorf than just all or nothing damage. You're fighting Blood Falcon for the sake of your survival. Don't cannot get bit by down B. Essentially what it sounds like is that you gave him a fucking flash kick. Almost. I say Spike's killing at 0 make total sense. They basically do that already. The only character who Spike can kill at 0% is Ganondorf's. Other characters, their spikes aren't strong enough to kill most characters at 0%. And even then, Ganondorf can only do it against characters with pretty bad recoveries. Also, the grounded attack is just smash forward, Ganon up smash. Well, I mean, the way it's worded, it sounds like flash kick in how, you know, charge and then, you know, release. An interesting choice for a down special, though. I think maybe if you wanted to make it consistent in the air, instead of it being a punch, have it be an axe kick. Like a downward axe kick. Like, hang on a second. I'll give you a great example of what I'm talking about. Byleth kills at 0%. Oh yeah, also I forgot. Yeah, Byleth, because technically Byleth's spike is more powerful than Ganondorf's. Alright, but yeah, if you want an example of like a good like alternative to using a punch, because I think if you're going to use a kick for the grounded version, you should use a kick for the aerial version as well. You know, something like this, something like that would be good. You know, big wind up aerial axe kick that can deal a lot of damage. That'd be neat. I think other than that, I think it's pretty much fine for the most part. But yeah, I think that it's interesting that you went with the design for essentially lacking a utility option, because, you know, I know Falcon doesn't really have a utility option, but he's from the era of Smash Brothers where they were still experimenting with things, and a lot of the uniform design of Smash movesets going past Smash 64 weren't really solidified yet. That's why Smash 64 is the only game where you have characters whose recoveries you either don't have up special recoveries or have really weird up special recoveries like Ness. But most characters going forward would have like the standard design of standard special is, you know, a big damage option of some sort that's usually a major part of the character's game plan. Side special is a burst option that usually designed to cover directly in front of the character in some way, shape, or form, whether it pushes them forward, covers a certain range, whatever. The point is that it's supposed to directly cover in front of you and is only good for covering in front of you. Up special is recovery, and down special is some form of utility. For most characters, the utility is a counter. But for the most part, I think this move is fine. Again, maybe if you wanted to shorten the charge and lower the damage a little bit, that'd probably be better. And congratulations, you made it through the blog. From here on out, you've already got the sufficient Blood Falcon experience. Nothing past here is necessary from a technical standpoint. Wait, did you not? Oh, you didn't give him you didn't give him a Final Smash. I don't think, unless it's down here. Pros, one of the fastest characters in the game with many stats, extremely good at knocking people off stage. The bonus, oh, there's the Final Smash. I was about to say. Yeah, I expect it to be, you know, Blood Falcon. Notably, the track they wore to is distinctly curved like a turn. I don't like the Blue Falcon, which remains straight and rams into vehicles head on. The Bloodhawk instead rockets into victims mid-turn, decimating them with the side of the vehicle. Fans of the series will note that Blood Falcon is likely performing the F-Zero X's form of drifting, which relies on the vehicle being sideways to work. I think that's a good spot for this moveset to stop. It's been almost 2.5 hours of this moveset, and I'll definitely say you put a lot of work into this. While my throat might not be happy with it, I'll definitely speak for the rest of my body and say that for the most part, I think that there are some very good ideas in here. I think that some moves are a little bit awkward and probably should be revised in some way, shape, or form. I think that a couple of the grounded normals probably should be looked at a little bit more. Some of the damage on some of them is also a little bit too much. I think a lot of the aerials are fine for the most part. Let me think what else. Some of the animations for the throws should be cut down a little bit. Again, you know, 1, 2, throw. The boost for the neutral special is an interesting idea, but I think it needs to be again tuned in one way or another. I don't think that the character should have access to, you know, speed and damage without either a setback, a notable setback, or, you know, limiting one or the other. So you get a speed boost. Maybe you lose a little bit of weight in the process, so you're easier to punish. Side special is an interesting idea, but I think should be revised in one way or another. Again, you could take this move in like 2 different directions. You can turn into just the purely mobility option. You can turn into pure burst damage option. In my opinion, after reading the down special, probably would be better to just turn this into a mobility option. The recovery seems perfectly fine, and the down special seems fine as well. You know, powerful if it lands, powerful, but you know, detrimental if it misses or you know, somebody blocks it. I think our design philosophies aren't very compatible. While I agree with some of your criticisms, I feel like most of it boils down to that's not how it should be. Well, when it comes to Smash, I stick with what the standards of what the series has presented so far. You know, buttons are designed to work in specific ways. You know, that if you're doing a forward tilt, usually you need something that hits in front of you. Up tilt hits above you. You can tweak the way that what you can do out of those buttons. I think that's one of the most interesting things about Smash design, is that you can pick and choose what you can do out of those buttons. But a lot of like Smash is the way it is for a reason, and I think that forcing the envelope on things that don't really need to be changed isn't a good way to go about designing a character. But yes, I'd like to see more work from you in the future. You will probably have to follow a word limit, though, because while I do appreciate the time and effort it took into making this, and I can tell you, as somebody that works with scripts like every fucking day of his life, writing a 100,000 word document is something that I'm going to guess took weeks, if not possibly over a month. But I see potential here. Hell, I wouldn't even mind if you took some of this, revamped it a little bit, and brought it back in a shorter, digestible fashion for a future episode. I say that to everybody. I know people really like to, submit new things, but one of the best ways to show that that you're improving is that you come back with stuff that you've already submitted and show just, what you've learned from the criticisms that you've gotten. And yeah. Okay. Before I move on to the two movesets that I promised to look at, we're going to spin the wheel one more time. If this next choice is extremely long, I'm gonna go die in the corner. I don't even know how I respond to that. Also, discussing design philosophies in Word without a script is difficult for me, by the way, Dahi, because as you can probably tell, I'm not very good at public speaking. As a matter of fact, doing this is extremely difficult for me. But thank you for dealing with my constant fucking stuttering and messing up words. Yes, Levi, I'll be doing Layla, and I'll be doing Old Man Han's moveset. But I'd like to just state, going forward, there will be a word limit for movesets going. So, I haven't decided what the word limit is. I feel that 10,000 might be still a lot. I might have to bump it. Actually, you know what? No. I think 10,000 is enough to get off a decent amount of detail. Okay. Let's spin the wheel. And our last moveset of this wheel is Urshifu. I apologize once again. She'll take my leave. I mean, you'll have to leave. And it's not even really punishment. If anything, talking more helps. I'm not somebody who usually talks very much. All right, and our next moveset is Urshifu. And it's a wiki. This is a fan-made Super Smash Bros. Moveset for Urshifu, the legendary Wushu Pokemon, introduced in Generation 8 from the Pokemon franchise. Bill Rogers and Kenta Kaye respectfully reprised their roles, voicing both styles of Urshifu in English and Japanese. Urshifu is a super heavy fighter with exceptional height and visible girth that makes it liable to become an easy target. However, unlike many heavyweights, its arsenal is nothing short of well balanced. I mean, most heavyweights are all-rounders, Bowser's an all-rounder, and he's the heaviest character in the game. Having decent ground speed and range, floaty jumps deceptively above average in aerial mobility, and enough KO power to launch even the mightiest of opponents with the weakest attacks with ease. Excelling in both offensive and defensive strategies and playstyles. Both easily depicted as a jack-of-all-trades character, having no real weaknesses between both of its main styles. I'd argue there's probably some, because, you know, big body basically means that you're guaranteed to have weaknesses. Let's know how to function both styles of the Wushu Pokemon and what both counterparts are capable of in certain matchups and mid-game situations. Single Strike is all about powerful and devastating attacks that can rack up damage with a single blow. Key difference that separates Single Strike from Rapid Strike is its ability to prosper from aggressiveness and recklessness when an advantage is in its grasp, akin to its canon nature in Pokemon Sword and Shield. In contrast, Rapid Strike style is all about swiftness and anticipation, being able to crack up damage with speedy combos and fight more passively, akin to its canon nature in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and the complete opposite of Single Strike. I can already see Urshifu ignoring shields in some of his attacks. I sincerely hope not. Rapid Strike Urshifu should be depicted as an offensive tactician to differentiate from Single Strike. Sometimes only relying upon one particular style isn't enough. Both attract each other, so the difference is similar to the philosophy of yin yang, and player must use that attraction to with Urshifu's opposite styles to succeed. So it's roughly the same weight as Ganondorf. Well, less than Ganondorf. I think Ganondorf's heavier than that. Top walk speed, initial dash, dash speed. Oh, he's slow. Fast fall speed. Good air acceleration, but very bad aerial speed. Even though the specific ability isn't an in-match gimmick per se, this function still grants a certain level of uniqueness to Urshifu. It can be split between two types of characters despite having one slot. Simply changing between Single Strike and Rapid Strike is done at the character selection screen for pressing the Y button, as if one was switching between Pokemon when choosing Pokemon Trainer. However, the number of alternate cautions will be limited for both types of Urshifu, as the cap for each individual character is 8. It shouldn't be, honestly. We shouldn't have lost all those little Mac colors, but that's besides the point. So between both of Urshifu's colors, it will have 4 alternate costumes for each of its styles. No matter what type is used, Urshifu will use the same base attributes. When it comes to both types, movesets, and moves properties, they will greatly differ from one another, only sharing a handful of moves and having completely different special moves. Elbow Smash, Dark Stretch, Headbutt, 3-hit combination of a squatting elbow strike with midsection, stretch kick for the opposite sided foot, and a stomping headbutt. Oh, there's 2 different movesets here. About to say, that doesn't sound like something that Rapid Strike would do. And that sounds perfectly fine. Looking at a lot of this, I think I'm gonna get through this one pretty quickly, because a lot of this seems pretty well thought out, honestly. Urshifu can increase its overall damage output by 1.2 times with its down special move Focus Energy. The following move list details the properties of all attacks when Focus Energy isn't activated and the base multiplier is in play. Well, that makes sense. Throat Chop, a Tungan Thrust, similar to Incineroar. Connecting the chop on an opponent will have it emit a dark aura as an after effect. Surprised isn't like a step forward punch. But again, that looks like it's going to be forward smash. Honestly, even when Incineroar does it, that move looks kind of goofy. Instead of maybe a Tongan Thrust, I would have maybe put something like a Vertical Chop instead. Not to mention, Urshifu doesn't even look like it really has. I mean, like, these are kind of claw-esque, but you know, Incineroar has big-ass claws on the top of his big-ass hands. Up tilt, roundabout, one hit spinning axe kick similar to Captain Falcon, and it's capable of meteor smashing opponents. It's fine. Hell, I would make it so that instead of it just being a one-hit spinning axe kick, it's like a full, like, windmill kick. Not in the sense that it's back, that, you know, you do a backflip, but instead, like, it's hard to describe, but it's a move used by Heihachi in Tekken, where he essentially just does like a giant-ass kick over his head as he steps forward. I'm pretty sure I gave it to him in his moveset. But essentially, you know, big move, hits above you, can also spike if it hits them near the end. Low shin kick, a crouching shin kick, perfect for shield poking when spaced properly. Quick, simple, makes sense. I'm not given frames, but I imagine it's, you know, decent frames if it's doing 8% damage. Lunging leg, a lunging kick similar to the Shotokans. Just call them the Shotos. Honestly, I think I would have gone with an elbow check instead. Something less like Ryu and Ken and more like Akira from Virtua Fighter. Because when I look at this character design, this is fucking Akira from Virtua Fighter as a Pokemon. The headband, the stance. This is very much Akira from Virtua Fighter as a Pokemon. So maybe instead of a lunging kick, it would be better to do like an elbow check. Urshifu is just Akira's persona. It really fucking looks like it, honestly. He's even got the spiky hair. Forward smash, dynamic punch, thrusts its powerful fist forward in a martial arts fashion similar to the likes of Mii Brawler and Kazuya. The punch emits a small amount of dark aura from at the end of the move. Urshifu gains super armor during the move. Much like Mii Brawler, dynamic punch has excessive amounts of end lag that can warrant a heavy punish. Akira, but he really hates shields. Akira's assist trophy in Smash can destroy shields very easily, so... I mean, you know, makes sense. Big, powerful one-hit punch, you know, it's the one-hit style. Single strike style. I always pictured it being something like Paul's big punch from Tekken, where he does like a big step forward and just unleashes a massive punch that does a lot of damage. I imagine if Urshifu ever gone to Pokken Tournament, they would probably just give him Paul's like big punch. Also, I called them Shotokans because I wanted to word my moves professionally like they did on the official SSB wiki. Just Shoto is a little too informal. To most people, Shoto is the most formal way to describe that character design. It's quick, it's simple. If you say Shoto, everybody knows who you're talking about. Iron Head firmly plants both of its legs on the ground, recoils, and quickly swings its head from up to back. Urshifu's head will be granted super armor during the first few frames of the headbutt's release. Not a bad idea, but honestly, if you want a better idea, hang on a second. Well, I like the idea of, you know, big, powerful upper, like, headbutt, you know, like Mario, Luigi both do it. Shut up, phone. Goddamn phone, shut up. Where is it? Instead of a headbutt, big uppercut punch. While the Shotos are a good reference point for Urshifu's design, I think Makoto is also a great spot to look to as well. Big, powerful uppercut punch. Maybe not in the same style as this, but you plant both feet on the ground and you do a big uppercut punch in some way, shape, or form. Low sweep. Takes one of its legs and spins on the ground with all of its power, similar to the Shotos. So is this a one-sided down smash? Because Ryu and Ken only cover in front of them. I assume all the fighting game characters only cover in front of them, honestly. If so, that's a neat idea. We don't really have many non-fighting game characters that only have a single-sided down smash. I know we have Mewtwo, but honestly, I think Mewtwo should get a double-sided down smash. What'd you miss? A moveset that took like almost 2.5 hours. Nothing much. How are you? One-sided, okay. Simple, traditional, does a lot of damage. Roughly as much damage as crouching roundhouse does for both Ryu and Ken. It's a shame you don't get, you know, special cancels at low percent. Neutral air, knife hand strike, long lingering karate chop, functions as sex kick. Works. Strong, so it's kind of similar to Terry. A strong front kick, similar to the likes of the Shotos and Wario. Maybe make it a little bit stronger. This could be easily like something like 14%. I can imagine. Ryu and Ken do like 15% damage with theirs at least. Rear sidewind kick, spinning hook hook the opposite way. Quick, simple, makes sense. Wicked wheel, an upward leg sweep similar to Incineroar. Quick, simple, makes sense, decent damage. Could be used as a kill off the top of the screen, I imagine, with that amount of damage. Down air, brick break, 18% hand. Takes one of its arms and slams all the way down, attacking with an all-powerful karate chop. The sweet spot is within Urshifu's entire hand, which guarantees a meteor smash. Works. Again, a lot of this is, you know, very quick, simple, you know, short descriptions, but descriptions make everything make sense. Perfectly fine. Grab reaches out one hand, Knife-handed chop for a pummel. Strong style skull butt. Recoils its leg up and headbutts the opponent head on with devastating power. Oh, so it's basically Stonehead. It's basically Kazuya Stonehead. Okay. Tied for its most damaging throw, but lacks a knockback based on headbutt. Cold shoulder, tosses the opponent in the opposite way and delivers a shoulder tackle. A la Guo Zhang style, launching them the opposite way. Honestly, if a shoulder check for a forward throw would also be a pretty good idea. But I think this also works. Palm launcher, upward palm thrust in the jaw of the opponent, similar to Captain Falcon and Mii Brawler, sending them upwards. I'm much for this style, presenting info. It's nice and succinct. I haven't been on a site like this in a while. I like how I look on the sidebar and I see two Marios and the Lava Monkey from Gorilla Tag. And down throw, frustration stomp, throws the opponents down, lifts its leg and stomps on the opponent's back with massive strength. Even though it delivers enough strength to break their backs, it simply just launches them upwards, tied for its most damaging throw, and delivers the most overall knockback. Again, nice, simple, 1, 2. A 14% down throw is a little bit powerful. The damage could be a little bit lower, especially since I'm assuming you could probably get other follow-ups out of it. Floor attacks, simple. No. Sweeps back to foot. Neutral special, Wicked Blow. The style of Urshifu's patented signature move. It stands in a charging stance in the aura of darkness surrounding it for some time. Similar in concept to Falcon Warlock Punch. Where at the move set, where it throws the moveset says, yeah, you know, brief descriptions, describes things well, simple. What's nice about Pokemon, designing Pokemon, is that there really isn't much that needs to be, you know, taken to extremes. Afterward, it then creates a quick after image behind itself and delivers a single devastating Haymaker punch. If connected anywhere, be it on the ground or in the air, it will trigger a special zoom screen. Represents a critical based on cannon abilities of Wicked Blow, will always land a critical blow. When performing Wicked Blow, Urshifu is granted super armor throughout the entirety of the move. When it's on the ground and single hit that collides its shield, it can instantly break it due to the immense power. The punch's direction can also be reserved during the initial throw attack, however, it's unable to be cancelled out of. Sorry, reversed during the initial throw and attack. I don't think you need super armor on the entire attack. I think that having super armor on the parts where it's necessary, which is usually the charge up animation, is fine. Or even during the first active frames of the move. And I think that it doesn't need to instantly destroy shields. I think that having both super armor and the ability to instantly destroy shields is a little bit too much. I think that maybe you can pick one or the other. I meant for down throw to be a launch throw with no follow-up. In that case, then maybe the damage is okay. Maybe it should be like a little bit lower, maybe like 10% maximum. Because down throws are usually the weakest throws out of all of the options that a character has. It's usually, you know, back throw is the strongest. Back or forward throw. The punches direction. But yeah, I think that you don't need to have it instantly destroy shields. It can do extreme levels of shield damage. And if you condition your opponent to block, maybe you could break their shield. but I think that like instant shield breaking is not really necessary. Aren't down throws super important for combos since they typically bounce an opponent close to you or straight up bury them? Not always. It depends. It's a character by character basis, honestly. For some characters, up throw is more useful for combos. But yeah, I think that just you can keep the super armor. I like the charge animation because that's fairly standard. You know, Ganondorf also has a lot of armor on the startup of Warlock Punch. But I don't think that you need to have the instantly break shields. Big damaging option that's very rewarding if it lands. But, you know, there needs to be a noble amount of risk. And I think that if your opponent predicts it and knows the shield, or either, you know, early or, you know, a perfect shield to move. Urshifu has Unseen Fist in the Pokemon games that ignores Protect with physical contact moves, so breaking shields is in character. I think you could translate that to him having very good shield pressure overall, but I think that instantly breaking shield is kind of, again, it's a little much. Okay, side special, Lash Out. Pauses and bursts a small fit of rage that gain. Pauses and bursts a small fit of rage that gains heavy armor during the animation. Urshifu will then rush a small distance forward. If an opponent happens to be in Urshifu's path, it grabs hold of them. It will lash out red slashes in their facial / torso area, representing its anger, and finalizes with an explosion as it jumps off the opponent, launching them. Like other side specials, especially those that function as command grabs, Lash Out can also be angled up or down, which makes it an avid mix-up tool when it comes to recovery options. And successfully performing Lash Out on an airborne opponent, the angle that their knockback takes them depends solely on Urshifu's approach angle, up for an upwards angle, default for a straight angle, and down for a semi-spike angle. Missing the move completely while airborne will send Urshifu into total helplessness. I like the idea. It sounds like Raging Demon almost. I don't know if you need armor during the dash, especially if you're getting this kind of reward out of it. Let me see what else. I'm surprised he's slashing. I know he's a bear, but from the way he's designed, I figured he would just punch. Maybe instead of a flurry of slashes. Hear me out on this, and this is just me spitballing an idea. He essentially... Okay. For clarification, has anybody ever heard of the Mantis Crab? Don't mind that, that was just something falling over. Sorry, the Mantis Shrimp. Okay, well, the Mantis Shrimp is a creature that can punch The mantis shrimp is a creature that can essentially punch so hard that it burns hotter than the surface of the sun. And once it punches, it creates like a pocket of hot air within what it punches that then explodes. What if Lash Out was a single punch that instead of rapidly slashing, you punch him once, and that punch is so hard and so fast that it essentially like grows, it like leaves a like fist mark on them, but that fist mark starts to glow bright red and then explodes. What if we did something like that? A single punch. Again, it's single strike, remember? It's still technically a command grab. But yeah, essentially these guys punch as hard as a bullet. And I'm thinking, this single strike Pokemon striking as hard as a bullet, this punches over 60 miles per hour. One punch, you pull back, and after like a small duration, you fucking explode and go flying. I think it's an interesting idea. It's very fitting for the design of a single strike Urshifu. Works sort of like Mega Man's bomb placement in a way, but in the form. No, I'm talking about like it's still like all one move. Like it's a command grab. You grab them, you punch them, and then like when you reel back like your fist, like the punch mark like glows and then explodes. It's still essentially all one move that happens all at once, but instead of just slashing rapidly at your opponent, you just hit them once to release all your anger in a single strike. I'm just trying to, keep it in the style of the character. I feel it makes more sense for the single strike Pokemon to release all of its anger at once, as opposed to, rapidly slashing at his opponent. I feel the rapid strikes should, be for the rapid strikes version of Urshifu. Up special, Aerial Ace rushes a moderate distance head first, surrounded by streaks of light. Aerial Ace is a multi-directional bend after activation, similar to Extreme Speed. On startup, it gains heavy armor until the ascent, granting Urshifu some safety when trying to recover, as well as deceptive power behind it that can launch foes easily with one hit. However, for compensation, Aerial Ace's travel distance is moderate at best, as rather slow compared to Aqua Jet when it comes to travel speed, making an extremely exploitable recovery option. Makes sense. I think that the bigger, slower characters, honestly, like I know I've argued this for a while, but I think Ridley's recovery should have armor because of he's very susceptible. So I think a recovery like this having armor is a great idea because pretty much none of them do, and it's a great form of counterplay. Because now your opponent has to pick and choose whether or not they want to risk getting in a hit, and your armor denying it, and you just hit them through their attack. I could have worded that like 5 times better than I did, but I think I got my point across. Also, the fact that it's not, you know, a super long range, it's more like Falco's fire recovery instead of Fox's. And then we have down special focus energy, taking a deep breath as takes a deep breath as color correspond aura surrounds it. Red for single strike, blue for rapid strike. Quite similarly to deep breathing. Similarly, it inhales, exhales, and inhales again. After the second exhale, it will roar and strike a warrior-like pose that varies depending on the style that Urshifu used. Just have him do like a Kuma's taunt, where he just like stomps his foot. Pressing the special button starts the inhale, which acts to charge. Pressing either the attack button or the special button through the apex of the second inhale, within 2 frames of raising its head, and 2 frames of lowering its head. Raising it 4 frames in total will lead to the pose. The second inhale is performed a little more rapidly than the first one, making nailing the timing a little trickier than the former. Nailing the timing will once again have Urshifu strike a pose. Striking the pose indicates a successful attempt. A successful attempt of focus energy grants the Wushu Pokemon an increase in all attributes such as ground speed, traction, aerial speed, and gravity. It also diminishes the amount of damage taken by 0.7% multiplier. Increases the overall damage output by 1.2 times. It also grants its respective forward smash attacks the ability to land critical blows, resulting in a special zoom effect whenever they are landed. The buff lasts for approximately 10 seconds with a cooldown factor of 30 seconds. Okay, that was a little much. A little bit much. In a similar vein to when we were talking about Blood Falcon's neutral special, I think you need to pick and choose what gets buffed. I think an overall buff is a little bit too much. Even in Pokemon, focus energy only increases your chance to critically hit. So if you want to, increase your damage and maybe, you get critical blows, I'd say 10 seconds is a little bit much for a character that hits this hard. Maybe, like 5 or 6 seconds, you get like a damage multiplier of 1.2, and you get, more damage on your smash attacks. I think that's more than enough. I don't think you need a boost to everything. This isn't ancient power, it's focus energy. Also, the description of how it works is kind of difficult. If anything, I would just make it kind of similar to the way you perform deep breathing. And then you just, simply, time things at the right time and then you get a buff. I don't think you need a cooldown factor of 30 seconds. I think that since this is a move you have to stop to perform, that this really isn't necessary. Using the timing or pressing the button too early would cause Urshifu to look around confusion, indicating a failed attempt at the move. Consequently, unlike deep breathing, focus energy contains a cooldown factor when it fails. Use 10 seconds. That's very long. That's very punishing. It can be cancelled by shielding or air dodging. If Urshifu uses it more than once, the amount of times it the amount of time to breathe lengthens with each use, which makes sense, and the boss multiplier is diminished in numbers. Whenever it loses its stock, focus energy instantly refreshes back to normal. So yeah, there's a lot to this move. I think that it needs to be, streamlined a little bit. First off, I don't think it needs to have a cooldown timer. I think if it's a move you have to dedicate yourself to and put yourself at risk of, getting hits, especially if it's a move that doesn't have armor, then I think that risk on its own is more than enough. Secondly, I don't think you need a buff for everything. I think that's a little bit much. Most characters, when they get buffs, it's to very specific things. That's why, you know, the Monado arts are, you have to pick and choose what buff you get. You can't have all of them at once. Thank God. Since Single Strike is more about power over speed, I would give it a power buff instead of a speed buff. Maybe Multi-Strike can get the speed buff and Single Strike can get the power buff. I also don't think you need a reduction in damage. Yeah, but for the most part, it's just that this is just too much at once. Just trim it down to like a couple of things, and I think it'll be perfectly fine. Final Smash. G max 1 blow. Lunges forward with a strong punch in front of it. If connected, anyone on Urshifu's rays in front of it will be sent into a cutscene. Urshifu then transforms into Gigantamax form and performs Max Ooze, rack up damage and torture the opponent before the final blow. It ends the tirade with an all-out powerful G-Max 1 blow, sending a devastating blast of dark energy fire forward towards the opponent to finish it. After its connection, the opponents are launched away with great speeds. Anyone else who was around Urshifu's rays also receive damage, but they will not be launched very far. Usually I don't really critique Final Smashes because for the most part they're inconsequential to like the overall balance of a character, because it's like whatever, pretty much. Unless it's like really, really egregious where like everybody dies. But honestly, I think this Final Smash could be really short, really sweet, and just transform, big, powerful punch, and that's all you really need. Again, since this is a single strike Pokemon, I think you want to accentuate the single strike. Instead of, you know, throwing the punch forward, like I know you don't because of the animations of Pokemon that Urshifu's not going to rush forward with the big punch. But I think that since we're not in Pokemon and we're moving into a fighting game, the big one-hit punch finisher is like more than enough for the one-hit Pokemon. Let me also quickly look over Rapid Strike. I'm pretty sure Rapid Strike is also fairly like standard for the most part. Rapid Strike, true to its type. Claw Strikes, multi-hitting, neutral attack. Splashes of water emit from its claws as a mere after effect. Works fine. A backhanded chop, performing the chop will have it emit splashes of water as an after effect, whether it lands on an opponent or not. Works. Two-hit attack, a stretch kick followed by an axe kick. Slightly similar to Sheik. I have not seen Sheik's up tilt in a fucking long time because I don't play Sheik and I don't know anybody who does. But that sounds perfectly fine. Low damage. Probably could lead into some nice spring traps if you only hit if you only do one of the inputs. Low shin kick, same as single strike, okay. Low powerful super kick similar to Ryu. The sweet spot is within the heel, while the sour spot is within the leg. Unlike single strike, Rapid Strike's respective forward smash does not have any armor. Makes sense. And that also makes sense. I'm surprised you didn't give him didn't give him an attack that you know, hit multiple times. Same as Single Strike. Unlike Single Strike, Rapid Strike's Iron Head does not have any armor. And same as Single Strike, Down Smash for low sweep. Well, I think that the big, simple one-hit attacks work really well for Single Strike. I think Rapid Strike maybe should have different smash attacks that hit multiple times. They're better. They deal less damage, but they're way better at catching people. I feel that's a stop. Sorry, I have a shit ton of alarms for my phone on right now because they tell me when to take breaks and when to start working again. Yeah, I think that maybe you should go and give Rapid Strike some more Rapid Strike attacks. Quicker, less damage, but in turn they have longer lasting hitboxes and make them easier to catch people. Neutral Air Tsunami Lariat, almost said salami. A tucking pirouette while splaying its arms at its hitboxes, similar to Lucario. Splashes of water emit from its body as a mere after effect. That works. Air lunging leg, similar to Single Strike. I would make this like a double kick. I know that the back air is a double sine wave kick, but I think I would make like maybe even like something like what Fox does, where it's like a rapid string of kicks. Or hell, you can make like Snake's like neutral air. Where it's not like super fast, but it does decent damage and you can probably drag people down with it if you're quick enough. I just think that so far from what I'm reading, a lot of this seems fine when it's like new stuff. But I feel like a lot of the stuff that Single Strike is doing that I do not think that Multi-Strike should be doing as well. Spinning roundhouse kick followed by a reverse roundhouse kick behind itself, an inversion of Link and Young Link's versions. That works. Up air, touch of a raindrop, lingering bicycle kick during a delayed backflip similar to Terry. Okay. Brick break, down air similar to Single Strike. I think that this should be something different. What if it's like a series of like rapid downward kicks, like a bicycle kick essentially? I only just referenced Snake, but his down air, you know, more refined, would probably work very well for something like this. Grab and pummel, same as Single Strike, that's fine. Forward throw, swift style skullbutt, grabs the opponent's arm in a wraparound clutch behind its neck and delivers a swift rising headbutt, launching them away based on headbutt. Works, it's fine. Watermill, effortlessly spin the opponent around like a windmill a la Agua Zhang style and throws them behind it, launching them the opposite way. Its strongest throw in terms of knockback, capable of KOing opponents pretty early. Pretty low damage for a kill throw. Up throw, a stretch kick to the jaw of the opponent, similar to the Shotos, sending them upwards. Would be also nice if you also add collateral to this, because Ryu and Ken are notorious in multiplayer matches for their up throw having essentially like a massively damaging collateral attack that's even more powerful than the attack itself, like the throw itself. Because like the downward hit of the close standing roundhouse is like 15%. It's like stronger than any of their throws. It's very funny. Lays the opponent on the ground, delivers multiple palm strikes to their backs in rapid succession, and finalizes with a massive chop to the opponent's back, sending them upwards. Same as Single Strike. That's all fine. Neutral Special, Searching Strikes. The style of Urshifu's patented signature move. It stands in the charging stance with auras of air and water surrounding it for some time. Afterwards, rather than creating an afterimage, Urshifu will perform a quick swipe that will trap opponents. It then follows with a reverse camel kick, then a rapid jab, and ends the barrage with a swift yet powerful roundhouse. Surging Strikes has the exact same properties as Wicked Blow, beginning with super armor while on the ground. Honestly, I don't think this version needs the super armor. If the entirety of the move connects, however, just like Wicked Blow, Surging Strike is impossible to cancel, but being that it's a multi-hitting move, it's more punishable than Wicked Blow when it's evaded correctly. I think for the most part that's fine. The damage should probably be a little lower than this if it's rapidly striking. Because all that together is what? I mean, in general, you can be dealing up to over 40% damage, and I think that's a little bit too much. Probably should be cut down to like 25 at most. In exchange for, the quicker rapid blows. I also think that with the quicker rapid blows, you do not need the armor at all. I think that should be something that's saved for the big one-hit move. Liquidation pauses for a moment, then charges forward with a leg lariat while its entire leg is surrounded by water. Urshifu is granted heavy armor during the active frames. If Liquidation connects, it will send the opponent in a more diagonal direction, up and away, falling victim to slightly more hit stun, giving Urshifu time to follow up with further attacks. It also allows Urshifu to cross up in a way where it will most likely phase through the opponent upon connection, and then right under them when they're launched. In the air, Liquidation can only be used once, but it will not fall into helplessness. Unlike Last Shout, however, it can only be performed at a strict horizontal angle, and since it does not function as a command grab, it holds completely when colliding with a shielded opponent, meaning it's susceptible to hard punishes because of its high end lag due to failing the move. I mean, sounds like a simple advancing side special. Works. I don't really see any issues with that. It has clear upsides, clear downsides, clear counterplay. Up special, Aqua Jet rushes a moderate distance head first, surrounded by water. If an opponent is caught in its way, they will fall victim to a multi-hitted barrage. Aqua Jet is multi-directional and can be bent after activation, similar to Extreme Speed, but it's also pretty safe when it's attempted to be edge-guarded. If Urshifu tries to recover and it slightly trumps Aerial Ace in terms of overall range and speed. However, Aqua Jet is rather weak in comparison, only being able to KO opponents at uber hazardous percentages, making it suitable for only for a ditch effort mix-up out of shield option or a mixed recovery option. I don't know where the mix came from in that last part, but I mean, it works. I think that this move being closer to Extreme Speed makes sense. I think Aerial Ace probably makes more sense to be closer to Firefox than anything else. Charge and then fly upwards. Whereas this one is quicker, you get more range out of it, but in turn you don't really use it for you don't use it for KOs. But then again, these kind of moves aren't made to KO anyways. And I already said the same thing about this. If it's the same as Single Strike, then everything I said about Focus Energy is pretty much the exact same. And the Final Smash G-Max Rapid Flow lunges forward with a strong side kick in front of it. If connected, anyone up to the 3 closest fires, con Urshifu's radius in front of it, we send to a cutscene. Urshifu then transforms into its Gigantamax form and performs Max Geyser to rack up damage and torture the opponents before the final blow. It ends the tirade with an all-powerful G-Max Rapid Flow, sending a swift claw swipe of rapid multi-hitting water and air towards the opponent. After its connection, the opponents... You don't, again, like the single hit. I think that it'd be much better if instead of sending the swipes and the water towards the opponent, just hit them yourself. I think that would be a lot more, interesting. After its connection, the opponents are launched at great speeds. Anyone else who was around Urshifu's radius will also receive damage, but they will not be launched very far. Okay, so for the most part, I'll say that this moveset is very solid. There's not very much about this that I would openly change. I think that out of the two, I think Single Strike is the better design because I feel like this is like the main one. This one was probably designed first. It feels the most straightforward. It feels like it understands the character the best. I feel like this could be... The Iron Head could probably be changed to something else. Again, as I said, like the Makoto theme uppercut punch probably would work very well for Urshifu's design. The armor on... Sorry, the shield pressure on this should be toned down so that it doesn't instantly break shields. I don't think that that's openly necessary. I think you could keep the armor during the charge, but that's pretty much it. I gave my ideas for Lash Out because, again, I feel that striking once is more fitting for the single strike Pokemon. This is fine. I already said that, like, pick and choose what you want to buff. Again, maybe single strike gets power buffed and multi-strike gets speed. But I think that there are more issues with Rapid Strike than Single Strike, because a lot of it is the same as a Single Strike, when I do not think that this Pokemon should be doing the same thing. I think that a majority of its moves should be, again, multi-hitting Rapid Strikes. It doesn't need to, be like Sheik levels of weak and, nothing but Rapid Strikes. But I think for the most part, it should be doing things that fit more in line with its design. Like, I don't think that it should be doing Brick Break, which is, a single punch. That's purely a single strike thing. I think that the up smash and down smash should probably be changed to something else. A couple of the aerials probably would make more sense to be... would probably make more sense to be something different. I know that the up air is technically a bicycle kick, but maybe a bicycle kick for down air would probably be better. I think overall there's not many issues with this. It's very straightforward. It's easy to understand, and yeah, Pokemon are thankfully very malleable in how they can be changed and, made into characters, because a lot of it pretty much is left up to interpretation except for very specific things. And I think for the most part this did it fairly well. I'd love to see this touched up and brought back at some point, because honestly, I don't think that there's much that needs to be fixed. And what could be fixed doesn't seem very difficult to change. Like, there are very few things here where I'm like, take this back to the drawing board and maybe think of something else. And the only time that I'm thinking of that is purely when it's something that the character that doesn't make sense to the character, which is usually just the stuff that's the same as Single Strike. But yeah, I think you did a good job. How long have we been going for? Oh dear God, we've already been going for 3.5 hours. Levi, Han, for the sake of my voice, I'm going to have to come up with an alternative for both of you. Your movesets will be looked at. And I think the best way that I can do it is that... Am I available all this week? Yes, I'm available this week. I'm pretty much available at all times because I work from home. And I work on my own dime, so. Thank you. Appreciate the criticism as well. You're welcome. Again, I don't think there's much that needs to change. I think the only real things that needs to change are, I think focus energy needs to be toned down a little bit. And I think there just needs to be a bit more differentiation between single strike and rapid strike, where it matters. Maybe we could have a short 2 moveset stream sometime this week. Whatever works best, feel free to coordinate it with us. I'll see what I can do. I think I can probably squeeze that in. I'll have to think about it. How I'll go about it. I'll definitely let you know in like the next day and a half. Probably by tomorrow I'll come up with a conclusion and I'll like put it in the Discord. But it's just like, I don't think I can go for like another hour because I think my voice will be shot. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go for tonight. I know we only got through 2, but I think that the 2 we went through were very good. And I'd like to see more from both of the people that submitted their work. There's definitely going... I do have comments enabled on my moveset, so if you need to save your voice, don't mind text feedback. Just giving you the option. But yeah, as I was saying, there's definitely going to be there's going to be a word limit. Yeah, I'm probably going to go. If you want to check what the word limit is, I'm going to change the pinned comment that has the list of rules. Like, I'm just going to edit it. It's more than likely going to be 10,000 words. I think you can pretty much get everything you need to get for moves that get, described in like 10,000 words. When will the next episode be? The next episode will be on June 8th. Though I would like to say that for July, we're not doing it until the 20th. And the reason is that I have release schedules for some things that I've been working on and are getting close to completion. They'd be releasing way too close to when it would normally be. Like for July, it would be the 6th. But I have something coming out. I have something planned to come out that week, so I cannot do the stream that day. The goal is to at least have like a 3-day birth between releasing a video and doing a stream so that, you know, the video doesn't get kicked out of my recommendations. Because apparently that's a thing that can happen if I do a stream too close to when I release a major project. Hisuian Trainer lost a lot of fucking potential views because of that. Because I released it and then did a stream the next day. But yeah, I'll be seeing you again probably sometime this week. If I were to take a guess, well, I'm not voice cracking, probably Thursday would probably be the day that we do the follow-up for Levi and Han. I'll name the stream like 2.99 episode 2.99. $2.95. Thank you all for coming. I'm sorry you only got the 2 today, but I'm glad that the folks that have been here the entire time, you know, you stuck it out. I know some of it may have been a little long, but while I don't mind long stuff. Well, I don't mind long stuff. My throat does. When is the next moveset coming? When it's done. Whenever it's done. When will that be? Hopefully sooner rather than later. I've got like 4 things that are pretty close to completion right now. And one moveset had to be pushed back like a decent amount because I'm still waiting on a commission for something for the video. And then I'm going to need again another one for the same video. And I'm basically like just sitting with my thumb up my ass because I have like a lot of the stuff for that video done. But I can't do poses because I'm missing a model. And one of the models that I'm using needs to be touched up a little bit by the commissioner. So yeah. Or commissionee, I guess. I'm the commissioner. I'm the one who commissioned it. Which sucks because it's a moveset that I legitimately want to be done this month, and now I don't even know when it's going to come out. That's the worst part about it. But yeah, I'll be seeing you guys soon. And just so you know, submissions for the next episode of Clear for Battle are ending on Friday. I believe is the 31st. So yeah, the 31st is 31st at midnight, which is technically June 1st, is the end submission date for whether or not you get your shit for the next episode. You're only allowed 1 submission. So if what you have in there isn't what you want to have reviewed, make sure that you put in what you want reviewed and delete the message of the older movesets. And remember, it has to be a character that could realistically get into Smash Brothers. So no anime. Or comic books. Other than that, I think that's all I have to say. I'm gonna go play Fortnite now. We love Fortnite.